Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630.
WMAL. 8:37. Thank you for being with us here on the Morning Majority. Let's get right to the phone line because way out in Wyoming, listen for it. Yes. Cattle call. Lanny Davis is in Wyoming, of all places, where he's at a dude ranch because we know Lanny's a dude. And Lanny, good to have you with us here on the Morning Majority. Why are you at a dude ranch in Wyoming?
Excuse me, I'm just finishing shoveling horse manure, which is what I do in Washington.
Well, then you should feel right at home there, shouldn't you? Hey, Lanny, you have written a column, and I want to get right into it. It says basically that you feel that President Obama needs to start swinging a few sharp elbows, that he needs to sort of get tough. And interestingly enough, we earlier in this broadcast ran a clip of Maxine Waters where she's hearing from African-American constituents who say the very same thing. They don't feel like the president is standing up for the things they believe in.
Well, it's in USA Today, commended to people because in a way it's a compliment to Barack Obama that he's being attacked by both the left and the right, which is what I really start out by pointing out to people, that when you're in the center, as Bill Clinton often said, the center of the road is where the roadkill is. But if you're being attacked by the left and the right, you must be doing something right. So my headline's a little bit of an oxymoron. I say you have to have sharp elbows, Mr. President, as a centrist. You need to be able to take on both the left and the right and endorse Simpson-Bowles completely, 100%, which has a $4 trillion deficit cut, not the 1.3 that the super committee is supposed to do. And you have to do a jobs program like FDR would do. And I mentioned John Kennedy going to the moon in 8 months. In 8 years, we can get people to work in 8 months. So really, it's a compliment as well as a suggestion that Barack Obama has to take leadership in the center.
But Lanny,
wait for everyone else.
The problem with your thesis is that he's not making any friends on the right, and he's lost left, and he's a centrist in your mind, which I don't know if he really is that the middle doesn't like him either. Independents don't like him either. I mean, the polls on the way of his handling of the economy, more than 70% disapprove. So he's not making anyone happy, left, right, or middle.
No, that's right. And I think the reason is that he has waited too long, too often, to take leadership, as he did, for example, on the deficit, waiting for Congress to try to get their act together rather than taking the lead. And I think he can learn from Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton. Ronald Reagan, people forget, who are conservatives, was responsible for the greatest tax increase in peacetime in American history. And he alienated his right wing, but he did the right thing and did a deal with Tip O'Neill on Social Security. Bill Clinton took on the left of his party when he work with the Republicans on a balanced budget. So really, Barack Obama has a chance now to change his style of leadership and get those independents back. But I agree with you. Right now, those independents are gone the other way, where they were with him in 2008.
Right. But the one thing you forget about Reagan is that, there were tax increases. This was after a giant tax cuts. I mean, huge tax cuts. So
that's right, and it actually shows that he regretted putting himself into such a deep hole of red ink. Remember, the Reagan years were the greatest accumulation of deficits of all presidents from George Washington to Jimmy Carter, and he recognized that he had made a mistake with that tax cut. I wish my old friend George Bush had recognized that, rather than paying for 2 wars on a credit card without one nickel being raised to pay for either Iraq or Afghanistan.
Well, but the problem is the deficits that President Obama has racked up, it's because of spending. It's not because of tax cuts. I mean, the spending has gone up tremendously.
No, that's correct. I think the stimulus package and a number of other programs to get us out of the hole should have been paid for, weren't. I think Barack Obama recognizes now that he has contributed to this terrible debt that we have, and that's why I recommend that Simpson-Bowles has been from the start his answer, and why he didn't step up to the line and endorse it, I think looking back might have been a mistake. Now he can really take the lead and tell the super committee, you can do better than $1.3 trillion. You have to endorse the entire package of Simpson-Bowles, as they wrote in their report. You've got to take it all, and it's got to be across the board, and everyone has to share the pain.
Do you think that with his September speech, he's given a lot of speeches, he will take the opportunity to lead in any sort of new way. He seemed to telegraph on the trail that he wants to jump ahead of the speech and the offering the plan and then just blame Republicans for not passing it. He seemed to telegraph that was where we were headed.
Well, look, I'm a supporter of Barack Obama's. I've never hidden that. I'm trying to be constructive here. I think he is headed in that direction, but there's one thing I fear, and that is in the middle of a presidential campaign, which is what we're in, he'll start blaming people rather than bringing people together. You can bring people together in the middle of the road by taking the lead and letting people see the direction you're going in because you believe it deeply. If he blames the Republicans and makes this into a partisan issue, then I think that would be a bad idea. But that really isn't Barack Obama. Remember, the criticism he's getting from the hard left of the Democratic Party, you can read about it today on the blogosphere. I mean, wherever Jane Hampshire is usually the wrong place to be, and she is on the left now criticizing Obama. That's probably where Obama ought to be, is being criticized by both the Tea Party people and the left blogosphere. And now he's got a lead, and I think that's really what he's thinking of. I hope that's what he's thinking of, rather than blaming Republicans.
All right, but your dream of him embracing Simpson Bowles it's not going to happen. I mean, it's pretty clear that they want some new spending. There's talk of this infrastructure bank, and so that they're not going that way. He's not doing that. So you can tell him to do that all you want, but he's got his own ideas and he wants more spending. It's pretty clear, Lanny.
Well, I saw in the this morning's report about what he's going to say, and you make a fair point. If we're just going to dig a deeper hole and increase our debt, then that's not the answer. If he's got jobs programs that got to pay for themselves, one of the things I point out in my USA Today column today is that you can build bridges and roads and repair our highways and our airports, and you can retrofit office buildings and take the savings from energy that your lower utility bills will come from that retrofit and force those savings to pay back the loans that can come from an infrastructure bank or some other mechanism so that they pay for themselves. I think you'll see in today's clips they're talking about a jobs program that will not increase the deficit.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I
Didn't work in
that.
Seattle.
Yeah. All right, Lanny. Enjoy Wyoming. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Lanny.
Lanny Davis in Wyoming.
It's beautiful.
I was going to ask him about the cowboy poetry event. That's in Nevada.
Yeah.
That's it's going away because of budget cuts. And I don't know how we'll survive that.
Free market cowboy poetry. Here